This is the Dogecoin 1 month overview reading for the month of October 2023. It's currently August 12th, 2023, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Dogecoin at the time of this reading is currently 0.07663, or just over 7.5 cents, and that's USD. The shuffle file for the Dogecoin reading was created August 1st, 2023 at 2:32 p.m. Eastern Time. That's this video right here. So the overall theme and behavior for Dogecoin in the month of October, there's a significant trade opportunity standing out on a year-to-date chart. A big move to the upside. It's crossed, however, with a brief peak that's easily missed, followed by a decline through multiple support levels. Yeah, and it looks like erratic behavior kind of back and forth at the beginning of the month. It's like maybe like two highs in the month of October. We had the sneak preview card from September as the Priestess card as well, so it's sort of like a cross-reading congruency. And it may be that we have a hard to say, but there's most likely a low here around the 12th, 13th, 14th, and then a high most likely at the end of the month. Behavior around the highest high for the month, we have a period of volatility that ends with a fast sudden move higher, standing out on a multi-day scale. And then behavior around the lowest low, we have two lows on either side of a peak. So usually when you see that, there's two lows, one on either side of the month. I don't think it's that there's one on either side of the month in this case. What I think is actually taking place is near the low, we'll see a peak, a brief peak that's when we break through resistance, we stay above it briefly, and then we break back down through the same price level shortly thereafter. I see. So it's actually taking place here. So there's a low here and there's a low here, and in between we have this big move to the upside and a reversal. So we have the low twice there, like around the 7th and then 12th, 13th, 14th. And that's a bit of erratic behavior throughout most of the month. And then at the end of the month, there's this pretty big move. Before we go any further, let's see how we're doing in August so far. So there was opportunity on the 4th in this peak here, universal energy, to open up a short position before a sharp drop the following day. Big move to the upside on the 7th. Prominent peak on the 10th. Maybe on the 9th, 10th, there's one, and it looks like it's here on the 9th, and then there's another one on the 12th we should be coming up on again in the not too distant future. We're likely to see the low on the 15th, so this is looking pretty accurate thus far. There on the 5th there was a trough, looks like it ended up being on the 6th, but a significant low, almost like a lowest low there, as well as on the 2nd. Yeah, this is a solid reading. And then when we take a look at the 1 year, let's see how we're doing. Highs at the beginning of the year, April, May. So we had a trough. I had it for April, ends up being in May, but April, May kind of area. So we're a little early on that. Oh, matter of fact, it's actually right here. So it's on the cusp of March, April. So we have it here in March, and then we have another one here. It's a little off, but the sequence of events is accurate. Prominent trough in June. We should see a lot of movement to the upside in early August, followed by a decline to a lowest low, probably declining into a lowest low there in October. It's looking solid, aside from a few like being off a little bit like on two areas. The overall chart behavior is looking pretty accurate. All right, so on the 1st, we have an important range that's highlighted on a multi-day scale. We're bound by that range, and it's most likely the upper end of a range that we're bound by. There's a big move to the upside early in the day on the 1st. On the 2nd, we have a big move to the upside, sitting out on a multi-day scale, and possibly a trough around the cusp of the 2nd and 3rd. But there's an important resistance level highlighted on the 3rd, and we kind of have flat behavior, flat to downward behavior on the 3rd. On the 4th, the failed attempt to break through key resistance, followed by a decline through key support, again on the scale of a multi-day. On the 5th, we decline to and through support. We do a U-shape to meet a second support, and then we rotate sideways along that support, taking us into a trough there on the 6th, where there's an important technical price level highlighted on the 6th, 7th. It's an important price level on the scale of at least a year-to-date chart. And we should have a trough towards the end of the day A lot of price change on the 7th. Important support level highlighted. This is likely where we see a lowest low, our first lowest low. It's either lowest low thus far or it's a lowest low, and then we revisit the same low in the coming week. But there's a high probable location of a lowest low there. And then on the 8th, lowest low and also a prominent peak that on a 1 month there. So a lot of price change, probably out of the low to the upside. On the 8th, we have 3 pokes through the same price level, followed by a sharp drop to a trough at the end of the day, and then rally commences around the cusp of the 8th, 9th out of that trough with a breakout on the 9th, pushing the upper end of a range higher on the 10th, and marking a trade opportunity, our third significant trade opportunity for the month thus far. There's one on the 5th, there's one on the 7th. If you're interested in the paid version, guys, the way that you get the paid version is a really great way to support the channel. One of the best ways, you go to our services, SO Meta Posts, scroll down the monthly subscription, and click on Dogecoin. That'll get you access to the paid version. The paid version has everything, all the content that the public version has, but then at the end of the video, there's an additional like 3 to 10 minutes of content where we discuss what we see as the best trades for the month, and we talk about general timing, what to look for as far as chart behavior, for entry and exit points. We look at different time frame trades like multi-year scale if they're relevant, multi-month scale, and it's a pretty great way to it's really valuable information. We're not right all the time, but we're right a lot of the time. If you're interested in the paid version of all of the tickers, the most popular subscription is the 250 plan, where you get access to all paid versions. That also includes Google and Amazon, which you can't subscribe to on a singular basis. You can only get the paid version of those through the 30 days of all paid. Thank you to all my friends doing that. It gets pretty hectic here. So we go from like this breakout on the 9th to a trough on the cusp of the 9th, 10th, to pushing the upper end of a range higher on the 10th, to a reversal on the 11th, taking us back to a trough, and then probably a lowest low again, either the same low or a lower low here around the 12th, where we revisit a support level that we recently met once before. It's probably the same low. And then we have this big move to the upside standing out on a multi-day scale there on the 13th, reaching for distant resistance, and then another big decline on the 14th, most likely to like revisit the low again, or this would be the lowest low. It could be, I think the one that's here around the 6th, 7th is probably the same price level as the 12th, probably the same as the 14th, but if one of them is going to be deeper, it's going to be the 14th. And then we have an important price level again on a important resistance highlighted on the 15th, and we should have kind of flat chart behavior. On the 16th, a period of sideways rotation and a sharp drop that stands out in that period of sideways rotation, declining into the 17th, where we have the end of the decline marked by a fast sudden move higher. And then a cross-reading congruency for the full card here on the 18th. A lot of ground should be covered here. There may be a gap of some kind, or just a really significant move there. Yeah, it's like a pop and drop there. So a big move higher starting on the 17th into the 18th, and then there's a peak that's created on the 18th, 19th, and a sharp drop off of that peak or crest. A day trade opportunity on the 19th, so really a lot of price change, most likely on the 19th as well, because when you see day trades, usually indicates that there's a lot of price change on that specific day. On the 20th, sideways crisscrosses back and forth through the same price level, confirming a bullish trend. Usually it's one to the upside, one to the downside, and then back to the upside, confirming a bullish trend. We attempt to establish support on the 27th at what may be a highest high thus far, or a high. I think it's probably a highest high thus far when we attempt to establish support at a higher price level there. There may be a little drop there between the 21st and the 22nd, but there's another rally along a diagonal trend line on the 22nd, breaking through horizontal resistance to meet a secondary resistance, which we then pull back to somewhere between those two price levels, and sideways, creating like a peak or a prominent peak or crest on the 1 month, and then we have a sideways fluctuating decline on the 23rd that precedes an unexpected rally higher out of a trough at the end of the day on the 24th. Pop and drop on the 25th with another prominent peak or crest, and then on the 26th, a trough that will stand out. 27th, another cross-reading congruency, revisit a crest that was recently a past opportunity in the midst of some erratic behavior back and forth through the same price level. It's hard to say what that crest is, but we'll be revisiting a crest there. And then on the 28th, There's a rally along a diagonal trend line that ends with a fast sudden move higher and then a breakdown through a diagonal trend line, taking us into near oversold territory on the 29th, where we have a big move to the upside out of that oversold territory to reach another peak or crest midday on the 29th. On the 30th, we successfully turn resistance into new support, and then on the 31st, most likely location of a highest high, we have a big move to the upside. It's an association with this ruin and the placement over here, so I think there's very likely a highest high over here. I'm picking up on something here. Either the highest high is on the 21st, or we have like higher highs and we go into a highest high on the 31st, in which case the 21st would have been a highest high thus far. And then the sneak preview for November is a significant decline standing out on a year-to-date chart. Guys, that's Dogecoin for October. Don't forget to follow that rule of karma. You do so here on the resources tab of our website, Tarot for Traders, where we ask that you donate 5% of the profits forward to one of these charities and 5% of the profits back to the channel here, leaving you with 90% of the money. Make sure to spend that money out of love, and the universe will send it back to you tenfold through this channel. What we're doing is we're effectively transmuting the competitive energy of the stock market into goodwill. We're creating abundance mentality and gratitude mentality, and guaranteeing further abundance in the future. Blessings to all my angel investors out there following those rules. The universe will send it back to you tenfold through this channel. And stay tuned if you got the paid version. We're going to get into that next. I'll see you guys on the next one.